You are listening to the Optic Blast broadcast, a Hipster Goblin media production.
All right, hey, Optic Blast broadcast. Hey, this is a totally different ball game than we usually play. We're going live, buddy. This is a live recording, one shot, no retakes, no edits. I am Lockman, and my boy Dylan. We're here together, and we're here to talk about something very special. Just last night, we went and saw Deadpool and Wolverine, the movie we've been waiting on. I don't know how long, dude. Forever.
For a while.
Yeah, for a while. And I just want to throw this out there right here, right now. It's going to be in the subject line. This is going to be full of spoilers. So, do not watch this video if you have not seen the movie. Don't do it. You're doing yourself a disservice. When I went in the theater last night, it was completely covered in signs that said no spoilers, no spoilers of Wolverine and Deadpool, So I'm telling you right now, if you don't ruin the movie and watch this before you go see the movie, don't do that. If you haven't seen it, turn us off right now. Go watch the movie, whatever you're doing, book the next showtime, drop everything and go see this movie, then come back. So then all of this makes sense to you and you don't ruin anything. Is that do you think, Dylan, that's enough of a warning for them?
I don't know. I think we might just say it one more time. Listen, if you have not seen this movie, go watch it. Do not keep watching the show. Yep. Okay, we're going full spoiler mode. This is your final warning. We're going to be talking about all the spoilers, all the big things happening in this movie. And there's a lot, so you don't want to miss it. Go watch it right now.
Right now. Okay, so there's multiple warnings. So I don't want anybody hitting us up in the socials being like, you spoiled this for me. Bro, you've had your chance. Okay. All right, with that being said, all ears who are hearing this now, I mean, we usually encourage people to watch the show. We're discouraging you. Don't do it unless you've seen it. All right, with all ears now, if you're still here, you've now seen the movie. And here we are. We walked out of the theater. We went in last night. We saw the movie. We walk out of the theater, and here we are. Dylan, finally, after all this time, our boy, Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool, has entered the MCU. First thoughts?
Dude, I mean, honestly, just even the opening really I feel like always in the Deadpool movies in general, the opening just sets the tone for the whole movie. It's always super goofy, him telling a story, and then he's like, I bet you're wondering how I got here. And then he goes back into, explains how he got in the position that he is. And just obviously seeing him dancing to NSYNC while he is, throwing around the dead carcass of Wolverine's adamantium. I think that was so sick.
Dude, so that opening scene it might be one of my favorite opening scenes. So me and some friends went last night, and my wife, my wife, she likes superhero stuff, okay, but she's not the biggest, she doesn't go after that stuff, but she likes the Deadpool stuff. But last night she laughed so hard through this movie. She was in it with me. It was great. But that opening scene when Bye 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 from NSYNC hits and Deadpool just takes on the TVA with Wolverine's skeleton, not only is the action awesome and the violence is over the top, but the whole time you're laughing because he's doing a dance number while he's just decimating these dudes. Yep. And you're right. It's just every Deadpool thing is I bet you're wondering how I got here. And then he kind of tells the backstory behind it. My first thought is that opening scene definitely set the tone for the film. I came out of the film, my jaws hurt from laughing so much during the movie. There's all sorts of excitement. We get Deadpool. He's in the MCU. We get Hugh Jackman back as Wolverine, right? And that's the hugest thing. I don't even know. This is live, so I don't even know where to go or how to start or where to get rolling other than that intro kicking us off into it. And so basically, I don't know that you need a synopsis because everyone who's watching this has seen the movie, Mm-hmm. But as I go through, I just try to think of highlights of it. I really liked how Deadpool entered the MCU. They busted out the TVA. which if you watched Loki season 1 or season 2, like that makes a lot of sense. Season 1, I felt like it really touched more on, I'm one of those ones that didn't care for Loki season 2. I forced myself to get through it. Season 1, I really liked though. So I like seeing, all of that come through, how he comes in, all the little nods to like making fun of 20th Century Fox. And
Yep. Yeah, that was really funny. Especially, I think it was maybe a little later, like this is kind of skipping ahead, but like once they're in the void and you just see the Fox sign in there, I thought that was really, really, really funny.
Yeah, dude. And like Wolverine, like all the different Wolverines, like, so.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I guess like Wolverine was the anchor of that universe. And once he died in Old Man Logan, or I think they just called it Logan. Once they died in Logan, that universe starts to fizzle out. And it's so funny because that's a play on reality, that once Logan was gone from 20th Century Fox movies, the X-Men movies didn't really get the acclaim that they had before. And, like Deadpool was the only one kind of carrying things on. And it's just cool how they tied all that in. But Deadpool going through all the different, so he has in his head like, oh, okay, I can restore my universe if I go find a different Wolverine and we'll put him in that universe. Bam, anchor restored. My universe is okay, and I can now go join the MCU and be an Avenger. I thought it was funny that the cut scene at the end of Deadpool 2 was just him taking Cable's time machine and jumping through time and doing all these really funny things, like killing Green Lantern version of Ryan Reynolds before he signed the paperwork, killing the Wolverine Origins version of Deadpool, like going through and doing all those things. And that became the plot of this movie, which I thought was funny. Like he's jumping through time and doing all that. And so now he's going to go find the Wolverine. Like, let's talk about all the different Wolverines that he came across. I think, go ahead.
I think the one that stood out to me the most, obviously, there's quite a few, but the one that made me, I think, laugh the most was the one of Hugh Jackman, but he was like half the height.
That's what I was going to say. He says, oh, comic book accurate Wolverine. He's like 4 feet tall.
Yeah, I thought that was absolutely hilarious. Very funny. Very funny.
Yeah, that one was awesome. It was cool to see all the different Wolverines, the Age of Apocalypse Wolverine, and like every Wolverine Deadpool meets just absolutely beats the tar out of him. Like, stabs him a million times, beats him up. I thought it was cool to see that. There's a lot of deep cut stuff I didn't expect. And that's like this movie the whole time. There's so much deep cut, and it hits you so fast that you almost like, I want to see it again because I missed so much stuff. I missed so much because like it's instant boom, 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 boom. The Wolverine with the eye patch, playing poker or playing cards, and then the what about the Henry Cavill Wolverine?
Dude, that one was. At first, I thought it was just like I knew because it didn't show his face, obviously. So it looks like the normal, like Hugh Jackman version of Wolverine that we're almost used to a little bit. But I knew because it wasn't showing his face, I was like, no, this has to be someone else. And I remember hearing like rumors about Henry Cavill being in the movie, so I was like, it could potentially be him. And then, of course, we got like the big reveal, and seeing him was pretty sick. And like he was just sitting there working on the motorcycle or whatever, and just turning around. Yeah, I definitely think that was really awesome seeing him. As much as I love Hugh Jackman, seeing someone else as Wolverine is pretty sick.
Yeah, and Daredevil, Deadpool's response is like, he says something like, I can't remember everything he says, but he said something like, well, no, like, you look good. Like, this fits you. Like, this should be you or whatever. And he's like, they'll treat you way better than those guys, down the street treated you or whatever. And he just like knocks him through the thing. That's so good. There's so many little things like that like breaking the fourth wall is like Deadpool's like thing. I'm going to keep saying Daredevil, I guess. I got Daredevil on the brain.
I did that on the Daredevil show. I kept saying Deadpool.
Deadpool. Their costumes are similar. When I was a kid, I thought that Deadpool was just like Spider-Man with guns because their costumes are similar. And I had this Deadpool poster I got out of a comic book, but I didn't know who he was because he was never in any comic books I had. And I had it on my wall forever. And I literally thought it was like Ninja Spider-Man. And it wasn't until I got older. Like there's like a million different Spider-Man. So I just thought there was a ninja version. I got older and I got a comic with Deadpool, and I was like, oh, that's a totally different character.
That's
yeah,
funny.
but yeah, man, it was an awesome experience. I like violence and like in movies, like over the top action movies. We've talked about this before. Are my jam, like John Wick movies, Terminator movies, RoboCop, Predator, like all that kind of like over the top action. So this definitely hits that itch for you, and it's like actually a level above. Of course, this is rated R, so I would say comic book people who listen to this, I wouldn't take my kids to this, man. Like it's not intended for children. So I saw little kids in the theater last night, and to each your own, raise your kids how you want, but dude, it's a pretty wild stuff for like a little kid to see. They probably just saw Wolverine and thought, oh, Wolverine. But if you know Deadpool, dude, that's didn't they make like a PG-13 version of one of the Deadpool movies?
Yeah, I think it was Deadpool 2. They made a PG-13 version of it.
It had like Fred Savage was in it. They would read like a Christmas story or something.
Yep.
Yeah, if they do that, then maybe, and they'll tone it down a little bit. But as of right now, this is more like get your bros or get your friends together, like adults, and check this out. It is 100%. It honestly, I think it pushes rated R just from the stuff they say and the extreme violence. It pushes it to the limit, I think, with some of the stuff they do. Yeah,
there's a lot of gore in it for sure. Like it's a lot of bloody, a lot of like they're ripping people to shreds, so like literally. So, and like even later in the show, whenever this is like really, or not later, sorry, the movie, but like this is pretty far in the movie. Whenever Deadpool picks up Nice Pool and he's trying to save him, and he's like, "You're gonna be fine. Say it with me. You're gonna be okay. Yeah. You're gonna be okay." As he's literally standing there using him as a shield while there's 100 Deadpools just shooting at him. Yeah, that was.
Yeah, and then he's like, "Say it with me. I'm gonna live," and his head just explodes and like brain matter hits Deadpool in the face, and he's like, "Ooh, I can taste his thoughts." Whatever. Yep. So anyway, that's how extreme this is, So yeah, I definitely wouldn't advise that kids for that, but I like the extreme. That's Deadpool. When I remember, I was really worried when I was worried when Marvel or Disney bought 20th Century Fox, like the rights to all this stuff, bought this stuff back. Only for Deadpool's sake. I was excited as can be for X-Men. I want X-Men in the MCU. MCU needs X-Men to save them. I honestly believe that. For the status they're at, they need a good X-Men to come in and save the day, right? And this movie is like putting things back on track, like I think. And he talks about that in the movie. But I was worried for Deadpool because I didn't want Disney to watering down. Like I don't really want a PG Deadpool movie. That wouldn't to me really be Deadpool. The violence, the jokes, the language, this is all Deadpool, and it hits. So if you were worried, all worries are gone now. Disney let him just go. I think they made a joke, like remember he's talking to Blind Al. He's like, the one thing Faye said I couldn't do is talk about drug use. Like, so she's like, what about booger sugar? You're like, they're like naming all the different types of drug. He's like, nope, can't do it. Can't do that. We can't do cocaine on set or whatever, like. But it sounds. I'm not worried anymore. They were perfectly fine. And then Wolverine, dude. What about like Wolverine when he's facing off and he takes off running on all fours at?
Oh yeah,
dude, that was so cool. Like like little things like that. Ryan Reynolds loves Marvel Comics, and Ryan Reynolds loves Deadpool, and apparently he loves Wolverine too. Because it's like a comic book nerd's dream, this movie, like how comic book accurate and cool they made everything, to me, the jokes are so good that I want to see it again. And I have to have subtitles at home because like I like to read subtitles as I watch a movie. So I can't wait to get this movie and watch it with subtitles to catch even more jokes. But I want to see it again because I would be laughing so hard at one joke. He's just like, bam, 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 hitting you with jokes that like I would miss 2 or 3 more jokes because I'm still laughing at joke number 1. And then the theater's like rolling. And I'm like, what did he just say? Because I'm too busy cracking up about the first one. But dude, love it.
Yeah. As far as, I actually ended up going earlier in the day. I went to the first showing at like 10 a.m.
Oh,
with a buddy of
awesome, dude.
mine, and there really wasn't very many people in there. So like me and my buddy were just kind of laughing the whole time, and then the rest of the theater was kind of quiet. So it was like it was kind of awkward, but it was a good time.
Dude, I went. I wanted to get a picture of this guy. I went last night, 7 p.m. showing. So it's opening night, 7 p.m. The theater is packed. Like I went to the one in Jeffersonville. Extreme or Escape Theater.
Escape, yeah. I know what you're talking about. Escape. I don't know what it's called now.
Escape theaters. I went to Escape theaters to see the X-Men movie. When he this dude that worked there, he looked like a young Wolverine, and he was wearing Logan's outfit from this movie, and he was taking tickets, but he was wearing like cosplay. Super good, like quality, and like I wanted to get a picture with the kid, but he was working, and so but I was like, I'm not gonna bother him. But it was just awesome. So young Wolverine took my ticket when I went in. Also, I got this thing. I wanted to show this off. I got this at the movie theater. It was like there we go. So it was only $1 something more than the large drink was anyway, and so I was like, hey, I'll pick that up, sure. So, what was funny is like if you bought beer. Just the cup alone the beer was like $10 or something. I was like, what the heck? No, just buy a soft drink, bro.
My buddy ended up buying that one. And then I went in there because I was thinking, I went on the first showing on Friday. Mm-hmm. I know there were some showings on Thursday, but I'm thinking first showing of the day, Friday, they have to have these popcorn buckets. There's no way they're sold out. I go in there, I say, can I have a Wolverine popcorn bucket? They're like, we actually don't even have the Wolverine one. We just have the Deadpool one, and it's sold out. And I was so upset, and I just had to settle for this guy.
Yeah, that's a bummer, dude.
But this one's still cool.
So you could, if you really want to catch that Wolverine bucket, call around to the theaters in Louisville because some of them got bigger shipments than others did. Yeah. If you call around, you can just go buy the bucket. You don't have to like go see a movie or whatever. That's true. Like you can just call them and be like, all right, I'm on my way. I'm going to come grab one. We've done that. Like, I don't really collect the buckets, but like I bought the Slimer bucket for the new Ghostbusters movie. And then I bought my cousin one because the theater they went to was out of them. They didn't have any like that. And some theaters are specific. Like some theaters only have like certain things. Like I know the one over Tinseltown, they got that Slimer bucket, but the one, Escape Theater didn't get the Slimer bucket. They got some like Ghostbusters Afterlife bucket. So sometimes the buckets are also theater exclusive. But yeah, I would call around. Somebody had that Wolverine head one last night, but I don't think they bought it at that theater. I think they brought it from another theater.
Apparently some people pre-ordered it, which I didn't think you could actually do.
Dude, what world are we in where you can pre-order popcorn buckets?
Crazy.
Hey man, it's all good. But yeah, have you seen the Xbox controller? Daredevil
the Xbox controller. Yeah,
and it has like Daredevil's butt on the back of it.
Yep.
They're so silly with this marketing, man.
And speaking of that, whenever in the suit up scene, whenever he gets the TVA from the suit from the TVA, and it's just the little compilation of him suiting up, and it's just constant. Yeah, that
dude just keeps funny. Like hitting him in the butt and grabbing him and like and then when he comes out, he's like. He says something like, "I'm pretty sure that guy's a pervert, but I'm into it," or something like that.
Yeah, I don't remember what exactly he said, but it was something like that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, dude, that's so good. There's like so many scenes I can think of that are doing that. All the jokes, all the funny stuff. It's just Deadpool, and it's awesome. What about when they're in the whole thing taking place in the void? To me was super cool because in Loki season 1, me and my wife watched that together and she was really into it. And I was like, it was cool when we liked something together. And like, I thought the coolest part of Loki season 1 was the void. And also the thing that kind of bummed me out was that once they were done with the void, you never heard about it again. But I thought that was such an interesting concept that the TVA sends people to a place to be forgotten, like a junkyard for reality that doesn't need to exist in the sacred timeline. So the fact that Deadpool just pretty much the plot took place in the void with all the things that have been discarded was a really cool plot point and a really cool way to introduce those cameos and the characters that we got to see that I never thought I'd see again on the big screen.
or characters we never really thought we would see in general.
Ever, right? So like when the first big cameo happens, and let me tell you this story. I was in the theater. My wife went up to go get something, and we got there early, even though our seats are assigned. We're just hanging out with our crew. My buddy's birthday, my friends, we all came to celebrate his birthday and hang out together and watch this movie. And my wife gets up, and so our friend Courtney's sitting over here, and I say to her, she's talking about, I forgot how we got on the subject, but you're killing time. The movie's not started or anything. And she's like, we're talking about how the Russo brothers are talking about coming back to do Avengers movies again, which is exciting. And we were talking about, like, I heard a rumor that maybe Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr. might be interested in coming back, and the Avengers might be interested in coming back. And then we got to, I'm drawing a blank, bro, Captain America. Chris, the good one.
Chris Evans.
Chris Evans, yes. I was going to say Chris Pratt, and I was like, that's not right. Chris Evans come back at me and Cap. And I said, what I would really like is if they do, because I was thinking of the Secret Wars movie. If they do a Secret Wars movie and all these like multiverse heroes are together, it'd be so cool if Chris Evans jumps on the screen and everyone's like, yeah, Cap's here. And he's like, all right, let's go, guys. Flame on. And he catches on fire and flies. Like, that would be, I think we may have talked about that. Because like, that's something we've been talking before. Yeah, we've been talking about how that would be such a funny twist. And they freaking did it in this movie. When it shows him, like when Deadpool's like, no, this is the guy. And you hear his voice. So Chris Evans has a very distinct voice. Yeah. And like, I know it's him, but he's got this like shroud over him. And I'm like, dude, are they going to do that? No way.
Yeah. So whenever I saw him, if you look under as he's obviously like he takes the hood off or whatever, but if you look under the like thing that he has over top of him, you can actually see the blue. So I saw that at the like as he came on screen, and I was like, that ain't Cap.
Yeah.
I just knew instantly. And
That's
and then as he was about to say it, because Deadpool's like, oh, he's gonna say it, and I was like, flame on! Like as soon as I was like, yep, that's.
Well, yeah, if Deadpool's like, it's the 2 words. Here we go, and he's like, get ready to say it. I did like how he cussed, like Captain America cussed at the villains, and Deadpool's like eyes get real big and look at him, and he's like, all right, let's go, Cap. Like, are you a badass now? Like he's like asking him, like, and then all of a sudden he's just like, flame on. He's like, oh, dude. But what about Pyro? Like, Pyro just totally draining it. It's like, what the heck?
Yeah, I thought that was pretty sick too. Like, he just got clapped instantly, pretty much. Like, no chance.
I thought he was dead when he fell and like flipped down the thing. I thought, okay, well, he's dead, but he wasn't. And then like the scene with him getting like totally owned by Cassandra.
Yeah, and then Deadpool after that, like he's like, "Oh, we didn't have a big enough budget for him," or something like that.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, that did us a favor. His budget was too big, or whatever." The thing where he like Deadpool goes on this rant, and he's like, "Well, Cassandra, Johnny here said this about you," and it's this long, crazy diss, and then that makes her mad, and she kills him. And the whole movie, you think, there's no way he really said that. Like, Deadpool just made that up to get him killed. And then at the cut scene at the end of the movie, Deadpool comes back on the screen. He's like, hey, I just want to clear the air here. Like, here's the video proof. And it shows Johnny Storm saying all that crazy stuff. Yep. That's such a funny detail to like throw in. And as we look at the cameos, dude, so you got a ton of villains. Juggernaut's back. The one from X-Men The Last Stand. Then you had Lady Deathstrike was there, but she was like way in the background, but you could see her with her nails. But so it was like Sabretooth, dude, the original Sabretooth.
Yep.
And like I love how Deadpool and Wolverine were like there, and Deadpool's like, all right, man, hold on, you got to clean yourself up. Like, you look ridiculous. And like pulls the swords out of him. He's like, people have been waiting forever for this fight. And then Wolverine just instantly claps Sabretooth.
Yep. Yeah. So this is kind of a question that I have for you. So I noticed, or this is kind of something that, I don't know, it kind of crossed my mind as, I think it was as Deadpool and Wolverine were kind of fighting. and maybe I just thought about this wrong, or my thinking about it is wrong, or maybe I just never noticed it before.
Yeah.
But Deadpool was like stabbing his swords through Wolverine. Wouldn't his adamantium stop the swords? Granted, I know the sword that he has is made of adamantium because he talks about the sword.
He says that. That's the only way he can.
I didn't really know. Like, because the adamantium wouldn't. Does that heal with him?
No.
Do you know?
You have to know that, and we're actually, this is a good plug for this coming up episode of Optic Blast Broadcast, because we're doing Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe. Mm-hmm. And there's actually some talk about that in that episode we'll get to. But just for this live broadcast sake, you have to remember Deadpool he's goofy and he's silly, but he's a master swordsman. His level of sword handling is like through the roof. He can handle 2 katanas at once. He's like Leonardo. Like that's actually really hard. In sword fighting, most people you have 1 sword, but he can handle 2. So when he's stabbing Wolverine, he's going in between his rib cage. He's going in he's like going around. You have to. I mean, that's the only way you can make it make sense. Mm-hmm. You know, he's going in between or over here or right through any weak point in the skeletal system. Is totally believable that Deadpool would know how to hit those points, because while he's goofy and while he's like silly as can be, the dude is a crazy fighting expert, sword and master swordsman, master gun like freaking aim and like his that's why he's able to stab him like in the side and in the chest and all that.
Yeah, I guess that makes a lot more sense with it. I guess because the adamantium is only on a skeleton, so I guess it would make sense that it would go through certain. Okay.
So he's basically just going around the skeleton, all the different stab points, I would say, for sure. I mean, like when he stabs him in the neck, it's going here and here. It's not going through the spinal column, you know? Mm-hmm. So yeah, I would say that's probably where you go with that. But yeah, man, I love the movie. The cameos are so great. It's funny that we did the Daredevil episode and I talked about how like I was like, dude, I'm just so weird to see Jennifer Garner as a superhero. But then in this movie, like she held it down, bro. She did good. Blade walking in.
Yep. Seeing Wesley Snipes' Blade was pretty sick. I got pretty hyped about that. I was like, yes.
That's the first Marvel movie I ever saw. Me and my dad and my stepmom, we went to go see it as a kid. I was a kid, and I didn't know Blade was like even really from the comic books or anything. I just thought it was this Wesley Snipes movie. And then he showed up on an episode of Spider-Man the Animated Series when I was a kid. I was like, oh, okay, that's Blade. And he honestly kind of kicked it off for all the Marvel stuff. That movie did really well. The first Blade movie did. And then they have a trilogy. And I didn't think about it till last night. Blade Trinity has Ryan Reynolds in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like Ryan Reynolds is it's like his sidekick, one of his sidekicks. So like Jessica Biel and Ryan Reynolds, I think, are both in that movie. I think it's Jessica Biel. But I thought that was funny. I thought like, yeah, that's funny. Those two, Wesley Snipes and Ryan Reynolds go way back. I did like when he has like the big rocket launcher they said that he got from Punisher. Yeah, he's like, which Punisher? There's been like 5 of them, and like I love how when Deadpool says something like that, everybody just looks at him like, dude, what is wrong with you? Like you're crazy, because they don't know what he knows. Yep. They don't know about the fourth wall. And then Blade says something like, "Yep, I'm the only Blade, and I'll always be the only Blade." And like Deadpool looks at the camera like.
Yeah, I thought that was really funny too, the way he said that, because I was like, man. Obviously, with Deadpool's reaction, they're in talks, and they have been for a long time. I think that was even more so ironic because of that. They keep like pushing back the Blade movie. Yeah. So I thought that was really funny whenever he said that.
If they want to do a new Blade movie and instead just like de-age Wesley Snipes, I mean, he looked good in this movie, but have him like lift weights, get a little bulky again because he was kind of skinny, you know, have him like get bulky again and like do any de-aging they need to do to let him be. I'm cool with him staying as Blade. You know, I think that's fine with me. I don't know what's going to happen with that. Channing Tatum coming in as Gambit cracked me up, dude, because I kind of always felt bad for him because I followed the Gambit movie progress really closely because Gambit's one of my favorite characters. And I felt bad for him because the dude spent like, I think over a year training and learning how to speak like he's from like Louisiana, like that deep accent, like the Cajun accent. And he did really well with that. And it's so funny because when he talked, Deadpool would be like, what did he just say? Like,
and there was one time he said something, and he's like, I don't remember exactly what he said, but he's like, I feel like we're missing important exposition here because of his accent.
Yeah, come on now, Shell. We're going to go over here. Yeah. That was so good, man. And he's a beast. When he got in the battlefield, I thought they were going to kill him instantly because that's what happened. Shatterstar is one of my favorite members of X-Force in the comics, and they killed him instantly in Deadpool 2. So I thought Gambit was going to get that kind of thing, but they didn't. They let Gambit throw down. And it just shows you how freaking brutal Gambit's powers can be. I mean, he just exploded people all over the place. Just everywhere. So that was epic. Who else was on the team? You had Blade, Elektra, Gambit. X-23.
Yep, X-23, yeah.
Yeah, Laura, and like Logan was such a good movie. And like one of our friends last night, we were talking about how we were so excited to see her come back, and now she's an adult, and see her throw down and get the sunglasses out and like everything. And like then I talked about like how I've only ever watched Logan one time, and I really like Logan, but like my friend was like, it's just so sad. I don't really want to see that again. But it was really good, so it was cool to see her come back and throw down. She took Juggernaut out like easy peasy, dude. Like, Wolverine, why haven't you done that? Like every time you guys fight him, why haven't you just cut his Achilles tendon? Like, all right, slice his feet off or whatever the heck, you know?
Yeah, I've actually only seen Logan once as well, and it wasn't until like maybe 6 months ago.
Right.
Like it's still pretty. That was still something. You're great. Yeah, and so I thought it was really cool seeing Daphne Keane kind of reprise that role, especially because like I don't know why it took me so long to watch Logan, because I mean that movie came out in like 2017, and for some reason I just never watched it, and so but I'm glad that I did, especially in kind of preparation for the Deadpool and Wolverine movie coming out. That was part of the reason why I did that. Because I went on like an X-Men kick where I watched all the original Fox movies and including Logan, and so that was pretty cool. Or maybe it wasn't even 6 months ago. Maybe it was only like 3 months ago, because I want to say we might have been doing the show whenever I did that. So
all the 20th Century Fox movies. What about when they play that Green Day song and they show like all the cuts at the end of like different cuts of all the Fox movies? That was actually kind of like, I mean, that song is overplayed, but that was a kind of an emotional thing for me.
Yeah,
like
sure. I agree.
Watching all of that, and it's like, this movie is good at giving you a roller coaster of emotions. For the most part, you're laughing, but there's some really good serious parts in this movie, and like serious acting in this movie. Wolverine talking about how he failed the X-Men, and like, I'm not that guy. I'm not him. And like when Deadpool and Wolverine are in the van. The van fight is so good, but leading up to the van fight, when Wolverine just finally snaps and just goes off on Deadpool and tells him how much he sucks and how annoying he is, I genuinely felt bad for Deadpool. I was like, dang, bro. Like, and then when Deadpool's like real quiet, and that's how you know that hurt, because he didn't have anything to say. Then he was like, I'm going to fight you now. And then they fought the entire night. Then it comes back, and Deadpool's like tied up in the seatbelts, and Wolverine's sleeping. Oh man. Okay, so what about Cassandra, dude? Like, we don't really have a time limit for this. We're just free flying here on the live broadcast. What about Cassandra? What'd you think about that villain?
So she was interesting. I didn't know a whole lot about her. I honestly don't even know going into it if I knew that she was Xavier's sister. So that kind of surprised me. And then, of course, the way that she has to go into people's minds was interesting, to say the least.
Got your fingers in me.
She's super powerful, at least from what we could tell from what we saw in the movie. And I thought she was really cool. I mean, she was she also seemed like she was satisfied, just kind of chilling in the void until someone messed with her, and then all of a sudden she just kind of
it's like the
went all
TVA
out.
the TVA sent her there when she was a toddler, she said.
Yeah.
And like Professor X, whatever universe she was from, that Professor X didn't even know she existed, you know. And so I did some like kind of deep dive research on her a few months ago, and I found out she was the villain in this movie. And like, I'll be honest, like comic book wise, I don't really like her, and I don't like her character because it doesn't make sense. It's like I might be getting this wrong because I haven't read this stuff. I just read about it, but it was like she was Professor X's twin in the womb, and his baby body took all her nutrients and she died in the womb, but her psyche left and floated out in the astral plane and then found a new body and grew up, and now she swears revenge against Xavier. And I'm like, that's the stupidest storyline I've ever heard.
Yeah.
You handled it way better. She was just born, and then like she got taken by the TVA because she was evil, and they just threw her in the void. And we're like, we can't, keep her here. I like that. And she likes to play God, so she was satisfied staying down there. And then she's like, I really want to play God and destroy everything, except the void. Yep. So, what about like when she hires like 100 Deadpool, like the Deadpool Merc army to come fight Deadpool and Wolverine, like in the big like final battle or whatever?
Yeah, that was one of my favorite scenes, especially whenever they come walking out. Wolverine and Deadpool come walking out, and then all of a sudden you just see the cow come up. Mm-hmm. Oh, dude, that was so epic.
Oh, yeah, we got it. Yeah, Wolverine putting on the mask is what we've waited for. The costume, even. Like, just the costume. And I saw some backstage stuff where, like, they're talking about the first time Wolverine put it on. Or Hugh Jackman, he is Wolverine, but Hugh Jackman put it on, and he was like, why have I never done this before?
Yeah.
Like, this should have been the way it was, Just back in that 90s and early 2000s, they thought that would be ridiculous. No one would ever want to see colorful costumes. It must all be black leather, right? Yeah. But now he's got it on, and I thought that was really cool. The Deadpool army come walking up. There's always like nice pull. That was funny, like a funny throwback. The little dog is funny.
Yep, the dog was hilarious.
They said it's like the ugliest dog in like Great Britain or something in real life or something. That's really like where that dog came from. And then you have like the Deadpool army walking up. Lady Pool comes walking up. She's like leading the army. I kind of thought that was going to be Taylor Swift. I'll be honest. I thought that.
There was definitely a lot of. I feel like a lot of people kind of conspiring if it was Taylor Swift, and then some people obviously said Blake Lively, which, spoiler alert, it was actually Blake Lively.
It was, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, when I watched the credits, I looked for that, and I was like,
yeah, that's literally, I was just, as I was watching the credits, as they were scrolling, I was just like, where's that? And there it was. But speaking of Lady Deadpool, Blake, it can't be the Optic Blast broadcast without some toy time, okay?
Time!
I got with me today. Check this guy out, or gal out, I should say. I got my very own Lady Deadpool right here.
Oh, dude, that is epic.
I don't really know much about like the brand or where this came from. I don't have the packaging with it. This is actually just something that my buddy gave me. He gave me a bunch of the toys that he was kind of getting rid of, and it just happened to be one of them.
Bro, how are you going to get rid of Lady Deadpool? Well, he slept on that. Now, his loss, your gain. You got Blake Lively, the action figure. That's what you
literally. Yeah, I literally have Blake Lively as an action figure, and you can't beat that.
You can't beat that, dude.
But, it's Deadpool and Wolverine. So I also got with me a Weapon X version of Wolverine, which is pretty sick. He's missing a claw. I don't really know where it is. I think it's in the box somewhere. I'll have to find it. But, I mean, it's pretty sick looking, I think.
Dude, Weapon X Wolverine, I always love that get up. We talked about that with Wolverine versus Predator, the helmet and the claws, and he's just like running around like a savage with all the wires sticking in him. That's one of the coolest Wolverine designs. Yeah, dude, you definitely got lucked out with those figures. That's awesome. Oh, yeah. I love to have a little toy time in a live broadcast that we didn't plan on having a toy time. That's awesome. Very, very cool. But yeah, all in all, dude, love the movie. I'm definitely going to go see it again in theaters. And I know the drive-in around here, we actually have it. If you're watching this and you're not from around the southern Indiana area, we are really lucky. We still have a drive-in. It's called the Georgetown Drive-In. One of their videos on TikTok just went viral a couple weeks ago, and it like hit like hundreds of thousands of views or something crazy. Because like there really aren't drive-ins around the country. There's not that many left. So we have a really awesome one. It's called the Georgetown Drive-In. There's a plug for them. I love going there. They're showing it this weekend. I probably won't get a chance to go again this weekend, but hopefully they show it on second screen next weekend. Maybe I could talk the wife into going one more time and seeing Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah, I definitely think I'm going to try to go see it again in theaters. It was just that good. It's worth a second watch. I think there's a select few movies that I've actually seen twice in theaters because I don't always like paying to go see it. Even if it's a movie that I want to see, I don't always like going to the theater and paying for it. Sometimes I'll wait. But this is a movie I would for sure pay to see a second time, even a third time probably. It's just that good.
You know a movie you'll like this. A movie that I paid to see. A Marvel movie I paid to see 3 times. Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
I didn't really have any money. I was right out of high school and living on my own, and I didn't have a lot of money. But any little bit of money I had, I spent to go see that movie over and over and over. I loved that movie so much.
So worth it.
Yeah, man. And I think I saw Endgame. I saw that one twice in the theaters, but I can't think of any other ones I saw a whole bunch of times.
I think I saw the Joker movie with Joaquin Phoenix. I saw that one twice because that's such a good movie.
Dark Knight. I saw Dark Knight 3 times. That's the other one, the one with Heath Ledger. But yeah, man. I mean, overall, I've really loved this movie. If I had to give it like on a scale of 1 to 5 or a scale of 1 to 10, I don't know. I don't have a scale. I'm saying this thing it's not perfect. No movie's perfect, but man, it's almost right there. And it's the best thing the MCU has done since Endgame. I know like people say, well, what about Guardians and what? No, dude, this is the most fun I've had in a movie theater since I saw Captain America hit Thanos in the face with Mjolnir. I had so much fun at this movie. And I really, really hope that this is like kind of resetting the MCU focus. And I think with some of the jokes that he says, and with Kevin Feige being involved and Jon Favreau being involved, like I kind of hope that some of these jokes he said are like actually like preludes to the future, because he says stuff like, can we be done with this multiverse stuff? Like, let's be honest, guys, it hasn't really been great ever since Endgame. Like he says that in the movie. And like, I hope that they're really like backpedaling now. All right, let's rebrand, let's refocus, let's get the MCU back on track, because we've been kind of dropping the ball here.
Yeah.
All the Russo brothers, the Russo brothers are supposed to be coming back.
Oh, yeah, dude, the Russo brothers being in charge of the next 2 Avengers films, I have full trust and faith in them. And I still have faith in Feige, too. I think I feel like part of it, I really don't fully blame Kevin Feige for the fault of the MCU. I think Disney really pushed Disney Plus and probably made him change a lot of the plans that he had with the shows that he had to produce. And I think that's really what went wrong. I still fully believe, I mean, Kevin Feige's like OG, like him and Jon Favreau have been at this since the beginning. They gave us everything from Iron Man to Endgame. So I fully believe that in the future, they're going to be able to really just give us some in-game level stuff. It's possible. So.
Agreed. And let's be honest. The anchors, you want to talk about anchors, the anchors of the MCU were always Avengers movies. So every movie built to an Avengers movie. Then that Avengers movie, single movies built to an Avengers movie. And then eventually it got to Infinity War and Endgame. So if the Russos are coming in and they're going to do a couple of Avengers movies, then we're going to get movie content building into it again. And I think if you throw in everything, the good stuff we just saw from this movie, I just think they're on the right track again. And I think the MCU desperately needed this breath of life, because comic book fans have been pretty disgruntled with kind of what's been going on. And I think Disney Plus, I agree, man, had a lot to do with that.
Yep.
All right. You got any more comments or anything about this before we shut her off?
If for some reason you decided to watch this show without seeing the movie, you just need to
At
stop
all.
what you're doing and go watch it right now.
Yeah, you did it to yourself, buddy. All right. Well, hey, everyone, thanks so much for tuning in. Coming up, I don't know, when is this? This is live. We recorded it. It'll be posted soon. But probably right after this, you're going to be able to find the next episode of Optic Blast Broadcast. We're doing Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe. It's a comic book series, a couple issues. It's a lot of fun. We're talking about Wolverine and Deadpool some more. So we did a couple episodes of Wolverine. By the way, great job holding down the fort with Old Man Logan. That was a great episode. And then now here we go. We're into this, and we'll go in it. So lots of fun, lots of stuff coming up the Blast Broadcast. Go see Deadpool and Wolverine again. Hunt down those popcorn buckets. Chimichangas and bub all day long.